District play continues in 11-6A, but the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders have a bye week this week, coming off a 35-30 loss to Rowlett this past Friday night at Homer Johnson Stadium in Garland. The Red Raiders fell behind, then rallied twice in the second half, and in the end, Rowlett scored the victory. A very exciting football game, but not exactly what Robert E. Lee wanted. Coach Piskey is with us here, and Coach, that game, we're talking about it beforehand. The kids just didn't start out very well, did they?
Yeah, that's right. It's like they just, kind of sitting around waiting on something good to happen, and then once it happens, they, I don't know if they lack confidence. We got about, like I told you earlier, we got about 9 days to figure it out. But yeah, they just didn't come out with the intensity that they needed. I don't know, really hadn't put my finger on it yet. Been doing a lot of thinking about it, but it's like they're not sure they can do it, and then something good happens, they realize they can, then they go get after it, and we've got to, find a way to help them get the confidence they need to come out and play the first half. Really the last 3 weeks we played great second halves, but that's why you play two halves, and we're going to have to learn to play two of them. Yeah,
in those three games you're talking about, you're down 17-3 to John Tyler, you rally and win. You're down 7 to Saxe, and you rally and win. You're down 21-6, I believe.
Yeah.
Friday night against Rowlett, you rally and you lead twice. So something about the second halves, but it does speak well for the young men that they're certainly not anywhere close to being willing to throw in the towel ever in these games.
And that's the good thing is now they've learned they can come back. So now we've got to teach them if you play in that first half, you might not have to come back.
It is a bad habit to develop.
Yes, it is.
Coming back is not always good.
Well, because you're not always going to pull it off.
Right.
Like the other night we thought we did it, and maybe it's a good lesson for us that sometimes you're not going to be able to do it if you sit around and wait to the second half, and hopefully we got a bunch of young guys, and when I say young, they're young on winning, and consecutive wins and putting together streaks and doing all that. So hopefully they can learn from this, and we saw something that we hadn't seen in the last 3 years, and they really hurt after the football game. I had several coaches comment about, you can tell it really bothered them, which is good because, typically if it hurts a little bit, then you can learn from it.
Yeah, well, I know mine was bothered by it. I have a son on your team.
Yeah, that's right.
He was not a happy man.
Yeah.
Friday night. It ruined his night.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll open their eyes to that's the biggest thing I see is coming out and playing that first half the way we play the second half. And then you still may end up in a battle to where you got to win at the end, but we've proven we can come back and we can fight to the end and we can do things in that second half. We just got to learn how to play in the first half, and I think we're going to be fine. We, made a lot less mistakes than we've been making in the past in special teams and stuff like that. I think we had one turnover, and that was just basically Zach trying to do too much. So we cleaned it up a lot. Bad news is we've got to wait about 10 days to get to play and get that taste out of our mouths.
Yeah, would you rather play after a win or a loss?
Well, after a loss, really.
Yeah.
Just to get that out of you.
Right.
It doesn't sit well with you, and you spend a lot of time thinking about it and analyzing it and reliving it, and if you had an opponent this week, you could have already dusted that off just like you do a victory and go on to the next opponent.
All right, let's look back at the game, and again, the next opponent, by the way, is Lakeview Centennial. The Red Raiders will be right back there at the same stadium coming up on Friday night, October 10th. But in the meantime, these are some of the Red Raider highlights from the exciting game against Rowlett, 35-30 the final this past Friday night.
We're on defense here. I think we've got all the defensive highlights together this week. And try a little pass play. Calhoun does a good job. He almost lost the guy. The guy tried to sneak behind him into some grass, but he played the quarterback pretty well.
Their quarterback was a tough kid. He had knocked him out, and he came back into the game.
He's had a little knee problem, and Gaines got a hit on him there at one point and went out, but he came back in when it counted and showed a lot of character coming in, leading that winning drive. Do a good job of pressure and coverage, and then, like I say, they tried to sneak one out late, and Gray did a good job of
batting it down. Yeah, it was a good play. Again, your defense, against challenged by a Rowlett team, they only had 115 yards rushing. Had some passing yards, but they had to in the second half, right?
We gave up a big play, a couple of times, just missing tackling the open field.
And they had one kid who was really, really good.
Yeah, a couple of their skill guys weren't bad. At 20 and 6 were pretty good, pretty quick athletes. But, a lot of that was just us not breaking down and making a play, just tackling them versus trying to make a big hit. That was secondary guys played that bubble pretty good. early. They got us a couple of times where they kind of adjusted. I think that's Tatum coming up, making a good open field tackle.
Jared Tatum.
Jared
that
reads
same
it
play.
and breaks up on it. It's either him or Wheeler, but might have been Jonathan Wheeler's moved that safety spot after McHale got hurt.
Yep. Jonathan Wheeler had an interception in the Saxe game and
Yeah.
started last week in the secondary. Good for him. More defensive highlights here.
Another pass play, get good pressure, and then Udo does a good job, picks this ball off right here.
That was intended for their number 20 Dickens, I
Mm-hmm,
believe, who had a couple of touchdown plays. He had great position here
Yeah,
too.
he
You'll
did.
see a better angle of it right here.
Good pressure, defensive front guys just getting after it the whole time. They had a pretty solid O-line, blocked pretty well. Udo's in good position, plays the football, so got him a pick right there.
That's his second of the year, I think.
Yeah,
And,
he's had a
good.
couple of fumble recoveries also.
So good job for him.
Still on defense.
Now they got a little drive working here, so trying to keep him out of the end zone.
Good
effort.
angle there and good pursuit. Got to get his head across that first one, Udo. And I think Derman cleans it up. Him or Campbell.
I think Campbell had a big night for you, didn't he? He had
Yeah,
double-digit tackles.
Really, they both played. The linebackers are playing a lot better. They're still looking at film. Friday night we got in. Fitz a little different. I think that's Campbell there.
Mm-hmm.
Still on defense. Like I say, I think we'll get through all the defensive highlights first.
I think the Chris Perry and the Tyler Paper had Campbell with 15 tackles. Is that what you had him with?
Yeah,
Something like that?
I think somewhere in there.
Campbell Miller, sophomore linebacker. Good, not going to get better as he gets older. Already a good player.
Yeah. It's maybe him and Derman here. Front guys clogging it up, linebackers. If front guys are doing a good job, that's when you see those linebackers making a lot of tackles. It's Campbell in on that right there.
New play from the wide angle.
Yeah,
It's a pass play.
pass broken up here. Like I say, secondary played pretty good overall. Had a couple of missed tackles in open field that led to one long run and one long run for a touchdown.
I missed the number. Who made that play?
I think it was Wheeler, 24. Still on defense. Rowlett threw the ball a lot more accurate than been throwing all year. That's a good play there. I think that's Calhoun setting the edge and then Derman filling inside out.
Better look at it here. When you say set the edge, the kid at the bottom of the screen,
Yeah,
Ray
38,
Calhoun.
kind of holding his ground there against that guy, not widening the gap. A lot of times kids give with that block and widen the gap. And Calhoun kind of sets the edge, and Derman,
And that means
Field
you have to
inside.
force the runner to
That's
go
right.
inside,
That's
right,
right.
where there's more guys to tackle.
yeah, where your pursuit's coming from. That's those outside backers' jobs to set the edge and turn them inside. I think it's a pass play here.
So what you're saying is a lot of times, here's a
That's,
quarterback sack.
That's Campbell, Miller.
A lot of times playing defense is not always about making the tackle, it's about positioning too.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
about
Let somebody else get the tackle, but you do your job,
Yeah, it's
right?
like those front guys. I mean, you don't see those front guys getting their name called a whole bunch, kind of like the O-line don't get their name called a whole bunch on offense. But if they're doing their job, then those other guys in the back half are having success, or the skill guys are having success on offense.
Right.
Good pressure on the quarterback, and then you see the two guys take the proper angle here and inside out. They played it pretty good there.
Yeah, we're seeing it again.
Yeah. You look right there, and Calhoun again takes the right angle at the outside shoulder and Campbell's inside out, and then you had a safety over the top.
Another wide angle, different play.
Yeah. It's a quick pass broken up there. I think it was Wheeler. We'll see on the tight angle here.
Now, why the wide splits here for your defensive linemen as opposed to when they play tighter?
Well, it just depends on what the call is. This is a 55 call here. We got 2 5s. They're in tighter. You'll see they got different 45 call, one a slide and a 4, another one and a 5. Just depends on defense coordinators got tendencies on what they're doing, down and distance, different stuff like that. So again, you see our guys, you know, pursuing inside out, and then you got to have somebody set the edge. I think this might be a dart or a power play where Calhoun at the top. Yeah, here it is. He blows that lead guy up and makes him bounce it. And Derman's there to clean it up. This is a Hawk here on a good field goal attempt, 40-something yards there. Did a good job. I think he had 3 field goals on the night.
And he was your offense in the first half point-wise.
Yeah.
So at least you got something. And you got one right at the end of the half, and that was good to get, right?
That's right. Had a little leakage there on the right side. We're going to fix that. But
so the sophomore Matthew Hawk, the
kickoff return here, I believe, by Jordan Devers. He's just a step away from breaking several of these.
You know, both those guys, they were kicking it away from Ajuan Barker the other night. Devers got them all.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one night they were kicking it to Ajuan, and he got all the returns and was doing good.
So eventually they'll quit kicking it to either one of them if we can get some of these back to the house. But you got guys, you know, blocking up there that we're not calling their name, but they're allowing that or causing that to happen with their blocks. Just a tight angle of the same play.
You got it teed up here. All right.
You see guys everywhere scrambling to get a block. Bank gets a good peel back there. At the end, this is Hawk's second field goal.
This came right before halftime, which gave you a little momentum going into the locker room, some points.
Yeah, it was important, you know, once they went up 21-3, we go down and get something right before half.
And hats off again to the holder, Mark Russell. Put the ball down nicely and hit the field goal.
Had leakage again from that same spot. That'll be a different body there next week.
Okay. Okay. See, this is what coaches look for, right?
Yeah.
I'm applauding the field goal, and you're watching for
the exact same leakage we had on the one before, and we'll see it one more time here in the highlights.
So you're seeing the glass is half empty then, right?
That's right. Here's another good return by Devers.
Yep, he had several. You know, coaches, you kind of have to you have to watch video that way. You have to look for the glass.
That's right. I mean,
both empty and full, don't you?
That's right. Those are important points. You know, there at the end, we get that momentum. We go ahead 30-28, and then have a bad snap and miss that extra point, which now it allows them with 2 really good field goal kickers just to have to go down and get a field goal. Now, you know, in the end, they got a touchdown out of it, but you know, those are big momentum breakers.
There's Jordan. He's mad that he didn't get another 20 or 30 yards out of that.
This is Hawk's last field goal here, I believe.
So some good special team stuff.
Yeah, Matthew's doing a good job, getting better every day. Of course, you got Mark Russell, Calhoun snapping, Russell holding, and they're starting to get more comfortable with each other.
So Hawk had 3 field goals in that game, including a 41-yarder.
Yeah.
Which was, and then a 32 right before halftime. I think here's some more special team stuff too.
Yeah, got another kick return, then we'll go to the offensive highlights. Again, you got a big old crease over here. See the tight angle, maybe you can see You know, and they tried an onside once. Kids did a good job playing it over here early in the game, and they kind of pooched it around a little bit, and then they went to kicking it deep. He's got two really good kickers. Got one playing in the Under Armour Bowl, one playing in some other big bowl. Kind of unusual to have two that good.
Yeah. Now you're seeing some offense.
Finally on some offensive highlights. Zach read it right and kept it. Made a good play there.
Zach, by the way, congratulations, was the American State Bank Player of the Week last week for that record-setting night that he had. A little bit of a slow start, but he wound up. His numbers were pretty good on the night, too.
Yeah, they were, you know, like I say, we knew it going in there, pretty good defense. Had that one turnover trying to force it and do a little bit too much. We still got to learn that sometimes a punt is a good play. We can avoid the turnovers. You know, gave them that 5-yard field, which is 7-point swings, pretty big. That's a good throw and catch there by Ajuan.
Yeah, the catch, I mean, he knew he was going to get hit.
Yeah.
That's a hard play to make.
He's pretty tough. He's not really scared of contact. You know, screen play here to Tavon. O-line's out front making things happen. That was a big force. A couple of plays the other night. Screen play was pretty good.
Devon Wesley, number 26, junior running back. Watch him run. I'll tell you one other thing he does well. I noticed the other night he can block.
He blocks, yeah. Him and Devontae both. They're not scared to block. They'll go in there and block hard and get after it. Another offensive play had. I think that's Ajuan completing that. Zach completing it to Ajuan there on a little out route. Ajuan's got really good hands.
Getting a play that's tougher than it looks. You got to throw on the run.
Yeah.
All about timing. Here he's
Another
going doing it
sprint
the
out
other way.
Opposite side.
That's the same play the other side of the field, basically, isn't it?
Pretty much.
And that's even tougher because he's going right to left and he's right-handed. So what's the?
Yeah, and that's Devers, I believe, making that catch.
Okay.
Little speed option. Zach makes a good read. You know, early they were stretching that out, and he finally figured out when they start stretching it, he's got to hit a crease and go, make them make a decision. Does a good job here.
It's a 32-yard run here by, I'm sorry, 42-yard run by Zach Hall.
You know, they played it just like they did in the first half, except that time he saw that crease and took it. Where in the first half they wrapped him up and he tried to throw it out there to Tavon, caused that one turnover. Mason Parker here being led around the edge, does a good job of cutting back inside and picking up some good yards.
Got a first down out of that. And what he really did, you know, the play was designed, looked like to go outside.
Yeah,
he read it correctly and took a better angle. And look at the good things. You'll see it right here.
Well, you got Tavon throwing his body out there blocking and giving him a little crease, and then he did a good job of finding it, being patient. Some of them just keep trying to race around the edge.
Yeah.
I believe this is Tavon again. O-line's doing a good job coming off the ball. Went to that. That looks like Tavon, yeah. Guys did a good job when we went to our hurry up second half. They couldn't do all and play all those games they were playing. So we were able to handle them up front. Good read by Zach. Got that one guy out there making a good throw. That guy that's out there on Zach's also a guy that's got to cover the flat, so he can't do both.
And here's a touchdown.
Yeah, I think that
that's
was
Tavon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Tavon scored that touchdown, yeah.
Big hole, too.
Yeah. Back on offense. Should be the rest offense. throwing the ball out. Somebody made something happen. I'm guessing it's Jordan. Jordan breaking tackles.
That bubble screen looks easy, but you know the receiver has to catch the ball,
Yeah, he's got
knowing he may get hit
Yeah, quick.
quick. Yeah, and then
And
make
hard.
a quick move. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he's got to trust his buddy out there blocking for him. That's a give up middle. I think it's Devontae there.
He runs hard too.
Yeah, he does.
I've enjoyed watching,
Yeah, it's Devontae.
and it's good to have a 1-2 punch. Both those kids.
Yeah,
Wesley
you know,
and
you can keep
Kramer.
them rested during the game and keep them fresh, and there's not much change. They both run hard, and I believe that's Tavon there on the touchdown. Nope, looks like Devontae.
Yeah, it's a 13-yard run. That was
Mm-hmm.
a third quarter run, which gave you an opportunity to tie the game, which you're going to do right here on a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, luckily I had a bad snap, and Zach stayed with it, and everybody executed and had two guys open. Could have thrown it to either one of them. He threw it to Devontae in the corner.
Yep. And this 2-point conversion again tied the ball game. Tied the ball game up at 21, I believe.
Yep, it did.
Gave you a 24-21 lead.
Yeah, I think we onside kick right after that 2-point play and got it, but was offsides. That was a big point in the game.
Now here's Trevor Carr. Is this
Now
the
this
touchdown?
got called back, and then we ended up only getting a field goal out of it. They had a lineman downfield.
Watch Trevor Carr here, though.
Actually showed a little speed running away from him.
He was. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He literally ran away from
Yeah.
him there, didn't he? But again, that got called back, and that wound up hurting you a little
Yeah,
bit.
a
'cause,
bunch. Yeah,
you
we
know, that's
only
a
got a field
4-point.
goal.
Yeah, 4-point swing. Could have used those 4 points,
Yeah.
but be that as it may, you come right back with a play like this, and that sets you up with the field goal. Who's made? I forget who made this play.
I think it's Barker.
Is it Osborne? Yeah.
You know, he does a good job waiting on Devers there, helping him coming downfield to help him block.
And he's so tall that he covers a lot of ground.
Yeah,
in strides,
long
too.
legs. Again, this speed option. Same play earlier that, you know, they caused us a turnover on. Now we've executed it right a couple times here in the second half. Got this one guy off the edge. Got to play Zach and the pitch back. I'm guessing their coach told them always take number 3 though in the future.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good guy to take because
Yeah.
he's going to he can make
I
things
think this
happen.
is Devontae up the middle here.
Because after you scored to take the lead, they came back and they took the lead.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to get the lead for the second time tonight, and the clock's winding down. I mean, there's this.
Yeah,
we're
every
in the fourth
possession's
quarter,
pretty
and it's,
critical. Yeah.
you know, big here. But this is a championship caliber drive here, Coach.
Yeah, they did good keeping their composure and just, you know, that one drive, we had that one call back. You know, it'd been nice to get a touchdown out of that. And instead of having a 3-point lead, have a 7-point lead. But they're executing pretty good, making things happen, staying at it. Again, it's another throw to Barker off the zone read.
And we're basically inside 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes left, and you know, winding down, trying to.
Yeah, I think we scored this last one with 3 minutes to go, something like that.
3:53, I think is what the
3:53.
clock said when. So late.
Kind of looks like the same play, but it's actually not. Getting the pull read, got the one guy off the edge, does a good job finding Osborne again. I think Tavon goes in to score here.
Big
Yeah.
hole, too.
Yeah,
Huge hole.
untouched.
So this is going to give you the lead.
Yeah, this put us up 30-28. We have bad snap and missed the extra point.
Now, okay, again, they wound up, though, going 14 plays, 67 yards, and scored with 6 seconds left in the game to win. That's a tough way to lose a ball game, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. After you fight back like that, you
Right.
know, a couple of times, and you score, and you know, kick coverage wasn't bad. I believe I got it on the 25 or
Right.
so, and you know, defense has been playing pretty well. You gave up a few big plays. You know, you feel like you had it, but just didn't make the plays when we needed to.
How do you handle the bye week? What's the schedule going to look like?
Well, of course, you know, Monday you kind of let them recuperate a little bit more. We didn't have any early practice. We'll just watch film during the period and really hoping to get them to tutorials, you know, before and after school, being the last week of the 6 weeks. Tomorrow morning we'll have a morning practice, just a little shorter than normal, and let them go to tutorials again. And then kind of get back on our routine starting Wednesday morning and have just kind of a normal rest of the week and start getting ready for Lakeview.
You're 1-1 in district play. You beat Saxe, but you lose to Rowlett. How do you feel about this team right now? Midway, you're at the mathematical midway point of the 10-game season.
Well, you know, I feel good about them. You know, I think we're going to still got a chance to continue to improve. We got to learn how to play the first half and play with intensity. You know, whether it's a confidence thing or what it is, we got to figure that out before the Lakeview game. You know, we've yet to put 2 good halves together as a football team. I think when we do that, we got a chance to be pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
And so hopefully we'll do it enough to where, you know, get in the playoffs, and come playoff time, always put 2 good halves together and might actually win some playoff games.
Injury-wise, where are you right now?
Well, I don't think we added any new ones last week, so we're pretty good. You know, after that Saxe game was a little beat up, pretty physical game, but I think we came out of this one. You know, might have had a couple of bumps and bruises, but nothing major, and should have them all ready to go. And like I say, by the time we get to Lakeview, ought to be in good shape injury-wise.
What do you, just an early look at Lakeview, what do you know about them?
Well, they're athletic. You know, Rowlett beat them 21-17. Hadn't watched a lot of film on them yet. Well, we started this morning looking at them a little bit, but by Wednesday we'll start on Rowlett. Today's more about us watching our game film. Tomorrow will be more about us on some fundamental stuff, and then on Wednesday we'll start talking about Lakeview. But they're going to be athletic. They're going to get after it. You know, they're just like us. They're battling for one of those playoff spots, so it's going to be a home game for them. You know, and they're going to be just like we told the kids about Rowlett. You know, they want to be 2-0 just like we want to be 2-0. And so people that make plays during that 4 quarters are the ones going to get to be there.
This has a chance to be a pretty good football team, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. You know,
Yeah.
like I say, we're still young and handling success and having victories and doing all that. We hadn't had a streak of those, you know, in some time. So hopefully they learned a lot from that Friday night, and that victory, that defeat hurt bad enough to where, you know, they'll take note and figure out what we got to fix. We'll talk about today during our film time, and you know, kind of grow from it.
Well, it's been an interesting first 5 weeks of the season. The Red Raiders are 1-1 in district play. They had a 2-game win streak, but that falls on Friday night. But time to start a new one. Again, no game this weekend. Robert E. Lee not playing on Friday night, but it's back on the road at the same stadium, same spot on October 10th. That's a week from this coming Friday, as the Red Raiders take on Lakeview Centennial at 7:30 at Homer Johnson Stadium in Garland. So good luck to the Red Raiders during their bye week as they prepare for the grind of District 11-6A, which continues next week in Garland. For Coach Piskey, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.